All right, everybody, welcome back to another Rational Wrestling Talk. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark, and I'm going to be talking about Jade Cargill, analyzing the potential of Jade Cargill in the WWE. Now, she just had her last match on Rampage last Friday night against Chris Statlander, and it looks like she wrapped up her run there in AEW. Now, obviously, the appeal is her size. You know, she's almost built like China, right? And knowing the WWE and how they view women, women like Jade Cargill, they like women like her because, they view women like her like larger than life, like China, like a Nia Jax, right? The WWE has an infatuation, I think, with bigger females, right? Bigger female wrestlers. And with Jade Cargill, you can see her realistically go toe to toe with a Rhea Ripley, right? And if you look at your women's division right now from Raw and SmackDown, they're pushing more of, the taller, bigger females that are higher in stature, right? In strength, athleticism. Obviously, Jade Cargill got the athleticism and the strength, right? She's big, imposing. And when you look at someone like that, who else do you think of with the same stature, the same appeal, the same athleticism? You think of Bianca Belair, right? You think of a Charlotte Flair. You think of a Nia Jax. Now, I'm not saying Nia Jax is athletic by any means, but she's big and imposing, right? The monster female wrestler, right? And, Rhea Ripley on top of that. Those four, Bianca, Charlotte, Nia, Rhea, they are your four biggest female stars, right? Now, I'm not saying big as in their status, but in terms of physical appearance. And Jade Cargill, when I look at the women's division right now, I just know she's going to fit in well. If anybody's worried about how she's going to adjust or how she's going to be booked, I would not even worry. I think she's going to be just fine. I think she's exactly what they're looking for in a female talent. And knowing she did wonders for AEW, Tony Khan treated her very well. They gave her this Goldberg streak, right? I can kind of see them doing the same thing with her in WWE. Give her an undefeated streak, right? Now, I don't know if it's going to be 50-0, right? But it could be less. It could be more than 50 wins. Who knows? But I wouldn't be surprised if the reasoning for bringing her in was for her to go up against Bianca Belair, right? Or potentially joining the new Hurt Business faction, which I think would be pretty cool if that were to happen. But that's obviously a match that they want to do, is Bianca versus Jade Cargill. Now, as a wrestling viewer, that's a dream match, right? But from a business standpoint, I think it's going to draw some eyes, especially within the Black culture, right? It's going to draw a lot of eyes from melanated people, right? Black people, because it's two women of color representing. Bianca Belair at this point, she has that crossover appeal, and in due time, she's gonna be doing a lot of movies, and she's gonna be, full on Hollywood. And I could see, the same thing going for Jade Cargill. She has that same look too, which is why I say it's gonna work out for her, because the WWE is all about looks. They've always been about looks, and if you have the look, then you're gonna get in the door, right? Now, in terms of wrestling ability, she's passable. Now, I haven't watched a lot of her matches. I've seen a handful um, of her matches, and look, she's not terrible. I would say she's still green, you know, but she's not to a point where she needs a lot of work, right? If they were to send her to NXT, which I don't think that would be a good idea, because um first and foremost, this was one of your biggest stars in AEW, and to send one of the biggest stars in AEW down to NXT to work with that women's division, I think that would be doing a disservice to her and the legitimacy of AEW. She was the TBS champion for a long time and was undefeated. So a talent like her doesn't need NXT. Like, there's certain talents that come from elsewhere that may need NXT, but everybody that comes through WWE, that comes to WWE, does not need NXT. AJ Styles is a perfect example. When he first got signed, he did not need NXT. Of course not. Someone like AJ Styles can bypass that system because he's already flourished. He's already established as an in-ring wrestler, performer. But Jade Cargill, she already has that it factor. She already has the star quality, right? And that's something that you have to work on in NXT. Like, you got to work on your charisma, your it factor. You got to work on your character, personality, all that. But I think Jade Cargill already has that aspect down to a T. I think she's established in that, in that realm. So really, I think it's just the in-ring work that she has to improve on. But that's just going to come with time. So I do think they are bringing her in to eventually face Bianca Belair, maybe at WrestleMania. Um, Maybe she's the one that beats Rhea Ripley for the title, or she faces Nia Jax, which, if Nia Jax is on this huge monster push, she's being booked to be a killer, right? She's going to be showing up on Raw every week, injuring female after female, injuring all these girls and everything, taking them out. She's going to run through the entire division. Well, I think the buck stops when she faces Jade Cargill. And, Jade Cargill will probably be the one to, put Nia Jax in her place, right? They probably be putting the feud and whatnot. And you see Jade Cargill overpower Nia Jax and be the one to pick her up and slam her on the mat, which would, gain a huge reaction from the crowd, right? But I think overall, she's going to do pretty well. Um, I just think from what I've seen in the women's division, um, they like women like Jade Cargill. They tend to book well. They tend to book women well, like Jade Cargill, right? They tend to treat women very well, like Jade Cargill, right? Look at Charlotte, look at Bianca, look at Rhea, Nia Jax, look at all the women that look physically imposing, that have a very impressive stature, physically capable and athletic. They tend to treat those women very well and book them well, right? And it's good that they signed her because she already has the star quality. She already has the look and she already has the personality, right? She can be considered Bianca Belair's equal in a lot of ways. Now, a lot of people will say that Charlotte is like Bianca Belair's equal. In my opinion, Bianca is slightly above Charlotte. That's just my opinion. In terms of athleticism and strength and just overall ability, I think she's above Charlotte. That's my opinion. But I think if anybody could match her, it's Jade Cargill. So it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do with her and how she's going to be booked in this landscape, and to see how she's booked differently than how she was booked in AEW, right? To see how she's presented, in the WWE system, right? But with that being said, let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. Um, do you think Jade Cargill will be a success or a flop in the WWE? Overall, I think she'll fare well. Um, you know, as long as she doesn't have a reputation or develop a reputation for being an unsafe worker, then I think she'll be fine. You know. So that's all I got to say about that. This is another edition of Rational Wrestling Talk. And this is the Rational Wrestling Mark. Thank y'all for watching, and I'm out. Peace.